Oh, it's working.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Spider-Man comic episode of Views. Today we are going to be reviewing The Amazing Spider-Man's number 61 to 70 and annual number 5, which is somewhere in between. I am your gracious host, Goblin, and I am joined by the lovely Akasha. What's up? Nasty says, hello, Nasty. Welcome.
We're live.
Yes. Do we sound all good? I'm assuming so, if you're saying what's up.
Yeah. Nice to have you here after your brash demands in the Discord.
But we're gonna be building Peter Parker in game.
Because we have no fucking villains.
Yeah, we have no new villains.
They're all running out.
Well, we're not running out because we haven't done. Who have we not done? We haven't done Doc Ock, but he doesn't show up in this week.
Nope.
Oh,
we haven't done the Looter.
We haven't done the Shocker.
Uh-huh.
I don't think the Looter's ever going to show up again. Character development time.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, do we just want to give some general thoughts then? Because we were talking about sharing some general thoughts and stuff.
Yes.
Alright,
you go first.
General thoughts on this week? I thought they were okay. I don't think it's the best stuff we've read. I guess spoiler alert, this is the best annual that we've read.
Yeah.
It's actually surprisingly really good.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. I like when we have something that isn't dog shit.
Dog shit garbage doo-doo.
Well, it does something that the Spider-Man annuals don't do, and it felt important.
Yeah,
which is what an annual feels like. It's supposed to be some kind of important story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why is it important for me to see Spider-Man getting tricked by a director that's Mysterio? You know what I mean? With Johnny Storm.
Yeah, Mysterio does that anyway.
How is that important? You know what I mean? To a grander narrative, where with this annual, it is important, very much so, to not even Spider-Man, only to Peter Parker, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
And I really like that.
Yeah.
But, other than that, we get probably the best showcasing of Mysterio that isn't number 24, or 23, or whichever one it was. I think it was 24, with him being the psychiatrist.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to talk about that. And yeah, what were your thoughts?
I was saying before we were starting streaming, while we were flailing and flunking with these technical issues, that this slew of comics I think is also okay. Like, I think the stories are better than a lot of the really early ones, but the thing is, those are like charming and they're the first ones. These ones, I kind of just was not interested in what the story was that was going on, aside from the Mysterio ones. And that wasn't even directly connected with, like, everything else that's going on. That's like a sidestep in all this other shit that's happening with, like, Gwen and everything that we'll get into. Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, do we want to get into it then?
Yeah.
Alright, so we're going to start with The Amazing Spider-Man number 61. Oh, what a tangled web we weave.
Yelsifying Spider-Man?
If we remember correctly from the end of last week, Peter had assaulted Captain Stacy in self-defense because he had been brainwashed by Kingpin.
Yeah.
So we had ended the story with Peter giving pictures of him doing illegal activities to the Bugle.
Yep.
So it's revealed to the public that this news, obviously, the Bugle reveals it, and Gwen instantly knows something is obviously off with her father. She knows this isn't him. This isn't your heart, as Grimes would say.
Yeah.
And
do go on.
Yeah. Well, he decides that he needs to go into hiding.
Mm-hmm.
And she decides to go with him. Just because she's a loving, supportive daughter, I guess. And she wants to figure out what's wrong with him. So they go off and they do that. Spider-Man, Peter's worrying, so he returns as Spider-Man to find them. To find them gone.
Yeah, he goes to their house.
Yeah, but instead there are Kingpin goons.
With guns.
Which he quickly disperses because he's Spider-Man. Let me see. Hold on, I just need to... You continue for a sec.
Okay. Yeah, he beats up these goons, and then,
You blank him?
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking if there's anything that happens before they go to the airport, Gwen and Stacy.
Well, Mary Jane and Harry, we cut to them, and they visit the Gloom Room Agogo, which is the place she worked at from the last flu.
Yeah, that the Kingpin was secretly running.
Yeah, which is closed. That's just like a kind of side note that happens.
And they're like, what the fuck? Why is it closed? It was literally open like 2 nights ago, and they were doing great.
Yeah. So we find out that Kingpin has.
Well, we forgot about this important.
Well, no, I'm getting to that.
Okay.
Kingpin has hidden himself in a Osborn lab because it's the scientist who created the brainwashing technology is an Osborn scientist. This is underneath Norman Osborn's nose, but we get a little glimpse that Norman's getting a little bit of his memory back.
Yeah. He sees like a TV special about the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
And he has kind of a fucking freak out.
Mm-hmm.
So this is concerning. But yeah, so the Kingpin comes and
he orders Peter and because Peter's name was on the what's it called, the report or whatever that he took the pictures of Stacy. So he orders him dead because he doesn't want him snooping around.
Which I just want to say, I don't remember when they ever said that they started putting Peter's name on the pictures.
Yeah, I don't either.
That was a deal that he and J. Jonah Jameson specifically had. That was in tandem with the deal of never ask questions about the pictures, which is still relevant in the deal.
Yeah.
So I don't know why his fucking name is on those pictures.
I don't either.
Yeah.
But so some goons go out. Obviously, that's why the goons were at Stacy's place in the first place. We then cut back to Mask Pete, who's making a new mask that goes under, which I don't understand this. So he makes a gas mask to go underneath his mask because if you remember, one of the ways he was defeated the last time he fought the Kingpin was he had the little gas in his flower.
Yeah, his little Joker gas.
Yeah, his little Joker device, right?
Yeah.
And Peter designs a mask, but if we all remember, I don't know if I have it written down. I don't have it written down, but there was already an instance where he already did this in another comic where he had to deal with gas and made a gas mask to go underneath his. Why is that not? Stan is always so proud of drawing to attention that Spider-Man is so, he remembers everything. You know what I mean?
And he's equipped.
Yeah. But stupid news channel not sticking to the deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This isn't right. This isn't how it's supposed to be.
But yeah, I thought that was very odd because he's always so determined to be so consistent, but then he forgets that Spider-Man has already done. Plus, it just feels like a thing that Spider-Man would have already made. You know what I mean? Like, he fights villains that use gases all the time.
Yeah, Craven does it.
Yeah, he fought a villain who sniffed a moon fart. Like, come on. Or a moon rock fart.
The looter.
Yeah.
Did it. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Spider-Man goes to the Gloom Room because he doesn't know what else to do for, like, figuring out where the Kingpin is. And he figures out that, or he finds, like, a little plate that says Osborn Labs.
Yeah.
Like, in the rubble.
Yeah.
Because it's, like, destroyed. And
he says, oh, well, maybe they're not necessarily working in tandem with Norman.
Well, he hopes not.
Yeah, he hopes not. But he says they must be, like, using technology from Osborn Labs or whatever. So they go there to... he goes there to find them. And at the same time, Gwen and Captain Stacy have been intercepted at the airport by Kingpin goons, so they're at the Osborn lab.
Yeah, they get ushered in, and at the same time they get ushered in, Spider-Man arrives.
Yes. Yep.
But we also have another working wheel where Norman has just now shown up to the lab.
Yes.
And he's like, oh shit, there's like a light still on, so that means someone's still here, so he goes to like investigate.
Yeah, so he puts on the Iron Patriot suit.
This isn't Ultimate Spider-Man. Keep reviews separate, dude.
So yeah, then we have a good old classic fight between Kingpin and Spidey. I swear to God, we've seen like... Also, we'll see more, but we've seen like 6 fights between Kingpin and Spider-Man.
Well, Kingpin is like the main villain of this entire slew.
Yeah,
he shows up so many times.
For like these 20 comics, Kingpin is the main villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because he's a really good villain.
Yeah.
And I think they kind of realized that, so they kind of took it and ran, which is good. But I'm surprised just how much, because he's like, oh, Spider-Man's the only person who's ever foiled me. I just never knew, because I always thought Kingpin was a Daredevil villain.
Yeah, I thought he ended up somewhere different first, like Daredevil or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're fighting, and then Spider-Man gets Kingpin down, and he's like, you've lost. And then Kingpin goes... no, I haven't, 'cause if you move, then my crony is going to shoot Captain Stacy and Gwen Stacy. And then, lo and behold, Spider-Man does not have to worry about this for one goddamn second, because immediately, Norman Osborn leaps out of the shadows.
Oh yeah, and tackles the gunman. Well, but this is bad because it causes an explosion that Norman is caught in.
Yeah.
Which has a lot of complications.
And you could maybe guess some of them. You could maybe guess the one important thing.
So, Captain Stacy and Gwen are like tied together on this chair in a giant vat. They never explain what it is, but I wrote huge vat of pink drink.
Yeah.
Falls on the Stacys. It's just a big vat of boiling pink liquid. Yeah. I don't know how else to explain it.
Boiling strawberry milk. Boiling margarita. Okay, there's a boiling margarita over there.
And Spider-Man quickly, obviously, saves them because he's Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Kingpin once again escapes because during this, Spider-Man has to save them.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Stacy instantly, believes Spider-Man is still good, but Spider-Man leaves before the police can arrive because he's still wanted.
Yeah.
And that's basically the end of...
Yeah,
number 61, Oh What a Web We Weave.
And Norman walks off holding his head.
Yeah. Yep. What do you think of 61.
It's good. I'm gonna go back to that Kingpin thing with, I think Kingpin is a good villain, but I like this here.
Uh-huh.
Are you giving him an afro?
No.
A cowboy hat?
No, that's supposed to be hair. Looks awful.
But we have this ongoing plot where right here I'm like, okay, it's done. That's fine. But later it's gonna be like they're fighting, but it's just like they're just fighting over and over again over something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I kind of like it though. It's like a never-ending threat for Spider-Man right now.
That's true.
You know what I mean? It keeps him going, which is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This one, it was okay for me. I guess I've just seen Spider-Man beat up the Kingpin so many times.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
No, I get you.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm trying to
have the spider suit coming out of
Yeah,
his pocket.
Yeah, I like that you see what I'm going for here. Does that look good, or like, what should I do there?
Have like one more blue block hanging off the red one. Yeah.
Looks like he's got a little bit of shit coming out of his
Yeah, looks like he's got a prolapse.
That's gross. Everyone's gonna click off the review now. Alright, let's move on to...
he looks cute.
Yeah, he looks cute.
Wait, you didn't tell your thoughts on the comic.
Oh, I thought it was, I like Kingpin. And I don't think a whole lot happens. It sets up a cool thing for Norman, obviously, I mean, we're just gonna say he's obviously gonna remember that he was the Green Goblin.
Mm-hmm.
No shit. But,
yeah, if you thought he was gonna become the Iron Patriot, shame on you.
But they don't even pay that off. They're not gonna pay that off for a while, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Because
he's biding his time.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but... Yeah, other than that, it's kind of just okay.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of just regular Spider-Man stuff happens where he goes and does this, or it's just like the fact that he's like just making a mask again. You know what I mean? He's not even doing anything that I haven't seen before in this one too.
Well, also, I know it's like the theme of Spider-Man, but like at a certain point when like so many things are going wrong for Spider-Man, it just makes my head spin. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? Like, Gwen hates him. Harry is having a fucking meltdown. Fucking Captain Stacy is hypnotized. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Spider-Man's being chased by the police. I'm like...
Yeah. All right. The Amazing Spider-Man number 62, make way for Medusa.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Medusa as a character? I think she's pretty cool.
I like Medusa.
Yeah, so a little context for Medusa as a character is she is I believe the queen Inhuman?
I think.
Yes.
I don't know. I haven't got there yet.
Yeah, I don't know either. I haven't, but I believe so. The Inhumans is a group in Marvel.
Don't they live on the moon?
Something like that. I don't know. I think they live on their own planet now, or like their own country or something now.
I don't fucking know.
But she is not the main villain of this comic, but she's like basically in this comic, Medusa comes to Earth because she wants to learn about humans to go
see if the Inhumans can like come out of hiding.
Yeah, and socialize with their society, you know. So it's this whole thing where she goes out and she meets this guy who works for his name. What's his name? He keeps saying his name. Montgomery G. Bliss.
Yeah. Freddy Fazbear.
And his pizzeria.
Yeah.
He wants Medusa to work there.
Yeah.
No, he's a hairstylist or a hair.
Well, he sells hair products.
Yeah, and he wants to get pictures of a new hairspray with her hair, because her gimmick is she has living hair that's like really, really strong. So she does this because she thinks it's gonna help her socialize better, but it becomes this like
she gets
toxic.
sick of it.
Yeah, she becomes sick of it because he's like this really toxic dude, who like just wants. So basically,
and like she was totally willing to do it, but then she's like standing in a studio for like 5 hours, taking the same picture, and of course she's like, God damn it, I'm a goddamn inhuman, I don't need to do this bullshit.
Meantime, during all of this Medusa stuff, we see Norman again, who's talking with J. Jonah Jameson, because if you remember, they're both in a boys club. And it's just Norman is being aggressive because he's starting to have some memories start to pop up. But basically, Medusa leaves, like we said, because she gets fed up. So this guy, basically, he goes to his window and he calls for help. And Spider-Man, being the good Samaritan, he answers the call for help. The guy's like, he destroys the studio and he's like, oh, Medusa just left this studio and she fucking destroyed it. And Spider-Man knows Medusa's here because they had a run-in earlier in the comic where she kind of tells him off for not watching where he swings because she has a little flying machine and they ran into each other or whatever. But, he lies to him and tells him that Medusa destroyed his studio, so Spider-Man goes to find her.
Well, and he says... and she said this is only a fraction of the damage she's gonna cause to the entire city.
Yeah. She's gonna, like, destroy the city or whatever.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man goes reluctantly...
Continue. I'm gonna go get a root beer.
Yeah. Would you grab me one?
Yep.
He goes reluctantly, because he already feels it's a little suspicious. But they have a brief, like, altercation. They fight for a little bit. She holds her own very well against him. But basically, Bliss, this guy, he starts taking he makes his guys take pictures of the fight, because now what his plan is to get his money back is that he's going to take pictures of this fight in order to sell them and get his money back or whatever, or more money than he even wished of. Spider-Man, like I said, was hesitant before, but he's even more hesitant because they keep talking, like, as they fight, because that's what happens in these comics, is lots of talking.
You're like, make them stop.
Well, they talk a lot while they're fighting,
no,
clearly.
I know.
And that's just a thing in comics. But he finds out that, Medusa didn't do anything wrong, and she decides to just leave Earth, being like confused about how she feels about humans, because she thinks what happened is disgusting, and she's offended by it, but she respects the fact that Spider-Man actually took the time to, like, try to figure out what happened.
Yeah.
And he, like, goes back and he tells the public that the fight was, like, a fraud. So the pictures that the guy took are worth nothing now. I hope you guys didn't mind the 2 huge fucking soda cracks in the mic. But yeah, he gets...
Well, no, doesn't he say that, like, Medusa was, like, being evil or whatever and causing a bunch of destruction, so he can't use those photos in his ad campaign anymore?
No, it's because Spider-Man tells the press that the fight was a fraud.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what did you think of number 62, Make Way for Medusa?
I quite like this one. It's weird. There's like a switch in my brain for this slew of comics, what are you doing, Tip? For this slew of comics where the offbeat ones that have nothing to do with a wider story are the ones that are gripping me the most.
Yeah.
Like, this is just where Medusa just fucking shows up and they just have an encounter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no other importance to it. But I really quite liked it. I don't know, I thought it was an interesting motive for her to be like, I want to know how humans are, because usually the thing is everyone in this goddamn Marvel universe is really stubborn, and they're like, oh, humans suck, or like, oh, I'm just gonna like fucking yell at this person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really liked it.
Kid, there's usually not this much talking, Falcon. That's a quote from, do you remember in Civil War?
Oh, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah,
I
when
like...
Ant-Man tries to kill that kid.
Yeah, I like this one quite a lot too. I was hesitant for it because I don't usually think the one-offs where it's just like random bullshit that's happening.
Yeah, you thought it would be bad at first. You started reading it and you were like, oh, this is gonna be bad.
Well, just because it's like a character that shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, I also wanted to chime in, because I've been reading the other comics, as I've been saying, but obviously I'm far behind in the timeline and all the other comics than I am with the Spider-Man ones.
What is she doing?
She's trying to touch my peace tea. Stop! No! She's causing chaos.
Just move her.
I am. Davey taught her well.
Yeah.
But in the point where I am in the comics right now, which is like 3 to 5 years behind this, Medusa is just like some fucking random Fantastic Four villain who makes up a group, or she is part of a group called the Frightful Four, which is like the Wizard, Sandman, Medusa, and Paste Pot Pete, the Trapster. But yeah, so she's like fucking evil right now where I am. So I'm curious to see how the fuck she learns that she's an Inhuman or goes to be with the Inhumans or whatever.
I don't know. I guess you'll see.
Yeah.
But moving on to the Amazing Spider-Man number 63, Wings in the Night.
Yeah.
So we begin this comic where Spider-Man's swinging around in a downpour. This makes no sense to me. He's swinging in a downpour, and it makes his webs unusable. Is that not a thing he would have already calibrated for? Like, he's been Spider-Man for like 5 or 6 years at this point.
Yeah, like, it's gotta rain. It rains a decent amount in New York.
Or at least 4 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, has he never had to deal with this?
Does he just not fight crime on rainy days?
Yeah.
like
That's the days he takes off.
Like, what if some terrible shit is going down on
He can't do anything.
Yeah. Vultures, like...
The Fantastic Four takes care of those days.
Okay, that's fair. They, stop their exploration to be heroes.
Iron Man takes care of thunderstorms. And Thor is for winter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
It's all mapped out on the schedule.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but basically he falls and he hurts his shoulder.
Again.
I mean, it's only going to be hurt for this issue.
Yeah.
So it's not like that bad. But he, during all this, he hurts his shoulder, and lo and behold, he misses something fly behind him. And who else could it be besides my prediction coming true?
Yeah.
The fucking OG Vulture's still alive.
Yep.
And he's out and about, and he's got his Vulture suit.
And he's ready for revenge.
Won't they slip in rainy days? Well, yeah, but, like, you would think, that I think that's what happens, is that they don't grip well. But I would think that he would calibrate it, to be able to work on rainy days. But,
oh no, man.
OG Vultures is still alive, and he reminisces about how he faked his death, and escape. Or no, he he was dying, but when Blackie Drago, who was the new Vulture, revealed his scheme, it filled the original Vulture
with rage.
With so much rage that he
lived,
but faked his death, and then escaped. So he goes out and steals the second Vulture costume from like a museum.
He made another one.
No. He steals Blackie's second suit from a museum. I got this shit all written down.
Where the fuck is the museum?
You've already gotten where he's right there. There's the museum.
Oh yeah.
Don't question the notebook, dude.
Okay, bro.
Basically, though, the reason he does this, the reason he steals the second suit, is that he finds the new Vulture in prison, gives him the suit, and they escape together.
Yeah.
And, they kind of frame it to make you think that he's doing it so that they can work together, but the plot of the original Vulture is that he wants to fight the new Vulture to the death to determine who is the true Vulture.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me just look at my notes here. Do you have anything? I think there's something that is going on with Harry here, right?
Well, it's just that Harry's freaking out because his dad is like having
really different.
Yeah, really different, being really aggressive. And Peter is just like witnessing this because Norman came over to visit Harry and he was like really confused and upset. And every time he sees Peter's face, he's enraged.
Nasty says my laptop looks the same as yours, Akasha.
Oh, really? You got a freaking HP, brother.
But yeah, Pete is out and about and he sees the Vultures fighting, but he decides that he's just gonna let them fight.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
No, honestly, though, that's probably the best decision.
Just it's like when you're in a Fortnite match and you see two teams fighting and you go, let's just hide in a building and watch this.
It's a stupid analogy, but you're absolutely correct.
So yeah, that's exactly what this is.
It's an asinine fucking analogy, but basically he goes to the Daily Bugle and J. Jonah Jameson rushes him up to the roof to take some pics of this battle because it's obviously happening in the air because they can fucking fly. But the fight gets so bad that a child who's like on a terrace or whatever, like the terrace gets destroyed.
And the child gets chokeslammed by the vulture.
No, but the terrace gets destroyed and Peter has to quickly dip out and turn into Spider-Man to go save the kid, which pisses off Jonah because he has no one to take the pictures. So he quickly tries to find someone, but that will more happen next issue.
Yep.
But what happens? The original Vulture beats new Vulture, and the police arrest him.
Yeah, and then the original Vulture turns on Spider-Man and is like, great, I'm going to defeat the new Vulture and I'm going to defeat Spider-Man all in one day.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the comic.
Yeah, what do you think of number 63, the Wings in the Night?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good too.
I like
it's my favorite Vulture stuff.
Yeah, because Vulture actually has, like, a fucking personality.
Well, he has a good goal. Yeah, and he has like, an interesting motive now.
Yeah, and he's not just doing another team-up. He's like, no, I'm going to beat the shit out of this guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And, I mean, it's...
Well, no, it makes absolute sense. Why would he want to team up with the guy who left him for literal dead?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, he said just wait it out. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Fortnite, wait it out. You know what is bullshit though? This is so small, so freaking small. But at the like, you know how on the Marvel Unlimited pages when you open up like the page to read a comic, it has all the description stuff and it gives a short synopsis of the comic.
I never read those specifically because I'm guessing you're going to say it spoiled something.
No. It just gave a little one sentence description where it was like the Vulture roams again or something, but it didn't say the Vulture. You know what it said? It said Adrian Toomes. They have not once said his fucking name.
No, they haven't, really?
Yeah, it said...
So they name dropped him in the... That's stupid.
Yeah. Which is like, yeah, I know he's Adrian Toomes, but I don't think you should put the guy's name before they actually say his name.
Yeah, I don't think you should either.
Anyway, that's really small, but...
Yeah.
Overall, I like the comic.
Yeah. Alright.
The Vulture is like one of my least favorite villains right now, but he's getting some points back, so.
Yeah, no, he gets some points back in this
this
review, I think.
Yeah.
On to the Amazing Spider-Man number 64, The Vultures Prey. So, obviously, picking up directly from the last one, Spider-Man and the Vulture fight, but Spider-Man's got a bum arm, so it... You know, he's done it before, but he's got to fight. Did he fight the Vulture with the bum arm? Well, who did he fight with the bum arm last time?
It was the Vulture. It was the Vulture, and it was someone else because he had it for 2 or 3 comics.
Yeah.
Kazar?
Or was that right after it healed?
That was right after it healed, I think. You can go on, though, and I'll look at the covers and see if I can find
it. They try to, fend each other off and fight, but...
Oh, no, it was the Lizard.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
But Spider-Man latches on to the Vulture, and the Vulture sees J. Jonah Jameson and Robertson, who is now on the roof as well, of the Daily Bugle, and he swings Spider-Man towards them to make him knock them out.
Yeah.
Making Spider-Man look bad, clearly, because Jameson already doesn't like him.
Mm-hmm.
But then, Rubble also falls on them.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man saves them, but Rubble falls on Robertson and knocks him out.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man goes to save him, but Jameson tries to hold Spider-Man so the Vulture can take him out.
Yeah, which is so fucked up.
And obviously Spider-Man has to web Jameson, but do we want to quickly mention they cut to MJ, and the only reason it matters is because they fucking ruined MJ?
Yeah, they fucking ruined MJ. That's true. Well, it also matters because they also cut away... Okay, they cut away to Captain Stacy saying that Peter's alright.
Yeah, that's the thing that matters. I was just mentioning that the MJ stuff doesn't matter, only that they ruined how she looks.
Captain Stacy says, I know you like Peter Parker, he's not a bad kid, it was self-defense. It was self-defense, yeah. He didn't actually try to hurt me. And Gwen is like, great, I'd love Peter now. MJ got a new fucking haircut in other news, and it looks terrible. She looks like one of the Golden Girls.
But not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
Yeah.
It's like a perm. It's like a short perm.
Yeah, so we cut back to the fight, and it's getting down to the last few attacks here, because they're both tired.
Yeesh.
Basically, the Vulture hits Spider-Man, and it seems like he has defeated him, but Spider-Man plays possum, which happens quite a lot for some reason in these next few.
Yeah.
And tricks the Vulture so that he can break his little flying machine, because I guess it's like on his back, so he crushes it.
Mm-hmm.
And the Vulture escapes. He like flies away while his shit's breaking, but he escapes, and Spider-Man passes out in the street. And a crowd of people starts surrounding him.
Yeah. Dun dun dun.
Yeah. So what do you think of the Amazing Spider-Man 64, The Vultures Prey?
Not as good as the other one.
No, whenever it's like long fight ones, it has to be really good for it to.
Yeah, there's got to be something interesting about the fight.
Yeah, not a whole lot really happens. They just fight for a while, and it leads to interesting stuff. But like the stuff that happens otherwise, like it's important that Captain Stacy tells Gwen this information, because now they're going to be able to actually like talk and get back together and stuff. But
yeah,
other than that, it's just a fight that the ending only matters for.
Yeah, basically. And I mean, the Vulture just fucks off at the end, so.
Yeah. Alright, we'll move on then to The Amazing Spider-Man number 65, The Impossible Escape.
Yes.
So, Spider-Man gets arrested.
Yeah.
Spider-Man gets arrested.
Yeah.
And, he doesn't get unmasked because the crowd wants to. But legally, the police won't.
Yeah, like Captain Stacy comes over and he's like, you should check with a lawyer before you do that.
Which is a good point.
Honestly, a really good point. Like, do you have the legal rights to, unmask someone who this is their fit, this is the fit they're rocking, and as a private citizen, this is what they want to wear, and have their identity withheld?
Yeah.
I actually don't know what the answer would be, but they'd probably just unmask him.
Yeah, we now have another scenario where everybody has to worry about Peter again, though, because everybody knows he was on the roof and now he's disappeared.
Yeah.
So
Gwen's worrying.
Well, Gwen's worried. Aunt May's eventually gonna worry. It's just, yeah. It's what foretells what's happening later. So, Spider-Man's in a prison hospital bed. Or not like a prison. He's in like the police station hospital bed. And Captain Stacy's outside of his cell when all of a sudden he is captured by a group of escaping convicts, who hold him hostage. Spider-Man awakes and sees this happening, and quickly decides that he needs to convince these people that he is also trying to escape jail, because he is publicly still received as a wanted criminal. So he uses that to his advantage. And it convinces them. Obviously, I think there's like one of them, they're like, oh, he put me in jail.
Yeah.
So they're like hesitant.
But they're like, well, if Spider-Man is helping us escape, then we have a pretty good chance.
Yeah, which, obviously.
Yeah.
So we now have Spider-Man leading these convicts, and he breaks off for a little bit, and he foolishly... This part's really fucking stupid. I don't know.
What part?
Where he calls May.
Oh, yeah, that is really foolish.
So he finds a phone.
It takes off his mask.
Yeah, and calls Aunt May. Trying to, like, reassure her that he's fine. But he won't tell her anything.
No.
So she's just...
She freaks out even more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he hangs up on her.
Yeah. Just be like, hey Aunt May, I'm at the malt shop.
I'm out of college. I'm in the lab at college.
Yeah.
Late at night. Or... I don't know.
Yeah, I'm at the lab. I'm doing some extra research work. Shut up and leave me alone forever. Bye, Aunt May. Love you.
Yeah. But after this conversation, Spider-Man cuts out the lights so that he can... And this part is really, really cool. He, for the first time, I think, right? This is the first time he's ever done, like, stealth attacks like this?
Yeah.
He, like, web cocoons people into the ceiling and stuff. It's awesome. He stealth takes out all these convicts one by one, eventually freeing Captain Stacy from his, captivity.
Yeah. And Captain Stacy goes, "Oh, this is great. You saved me. I knew you weren't a bad guy." And he's like, "Okay, well, let's go to your trial so we can see that you're innocent." And Spider-Man is like, "Fuck no, I ain't going to trial."
Well, and he makes a good point that, like, if I go to trial, they're probably going to want to unmask me, and I just can't do that. So he runs away. So he's still technically a wanted criminal.
Yep.
Even though I feel like if the captain of the police station was like, "Oh, he's innocent," he would just be... I don't know.
Do you want to do the annual before we start the Mysterio stuff?
Why? Because we believe that it happens before that?
I believe it happens before.
Okay.
Yes.
So
I have very good reason to believe.
We believe canonically that annual number 5 comes before before number 66.
Yeah, number 66.
Because you said it came out the same day, right?
Yeah, they came out the same day, but like the Mysterio storyline
is 2 issues, so obviously it can't come after this one.
Yeah. So we're gonna start with the annual.
All right. So the Amazing Spider-Man annual number 5, The Parents of Peter Parker.
What? Whoa, you doing a little Twilight Zone, like, yeah.
I'm falling through the whole
space-time continuum.
Yeah, something. So basically, we start out. Peter takes a trunk down the basement for Aunt May.
Oh, you're starting chronologically.
Yes, I'm doing it. I wrote it chronologically because I thought that would make more sense.
Okay, yeah.
He takes a trunk down to the basement because Aunt May is like, "Oh, I've got all this shit in here and it needs to go down to the basement."
Yep.
He accidentally breaks it open and he finds a bunch of shit. But he finds a newspaper clipping about his parents stating that they were traitors of the state during World War II.
A little after World War II.
Yeah, and they died in a plane crash. Him only ever knowing that his parents were dead, obviously takes this information straight to May, and she confirms that this is a true story, and that, she had lied to him because she didn't want him to feel embarrassed that his parents were like this. He's dumbfounded and he doesn't really believe it.
Yeah, and he's just upset about it, like, for days and days. Like, he can't do anything else.
But think about it, yeah.
Yeah.
And fairly so. I mean, even though he didn't know his parents, it's still big information.
Mm-hmm.
That your parents helped, I mean, in this universe, Hydra, Nazis, have information against the state, and now they're publicly known as Nazis.
Yeah.
That's fucked. That's a fucked existence.
Yeah.
He tries to kind of let it blow off or whatever, but he can't. So he decides he needs to go to where does he need to go? Algeria for some fucking reason.
Well,
no. Because the person who identified his body was in Algeria, and that is the only person who had any information about his parents at all.
I know, I understand. I'm just saying, like, I don't know why the hell there is, like, a Nazi operation working out of Algeria. Like, in real life, this just doesn't make sense.
No. This is the guy who found the plane remnant stuff.
I know, but there are literally, in this comic, Nazis working out of Algeria.
No, I know.
And his parents, as traitors or whatever, were working out of Algeria.
Oh. I guess.
Yeah, well, because that's where the whole
Well, I
story...
thought they were just meeting there.
No.
I don't know.
But, yeah, so, so he's like, I can't figure out how to get to Algeria, so I am, like with my own money, I can't buy a plane ticket. So Peter is like, well, maybe if I contact the right people, I can fucking get to Algeria. And so Peter makes a very wise decision and goes to the Fantastic Four and says, Reed Richards, I have something really fucking important to do in Algeria. Can you help me? He says it like that.
Well, and I really liked it because Mr. Fantastic is instantly like, yeah, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah.
He's like, let's take the fucking the Fantastic Four jet and we're gonna take off. It goes, it goes 40,000 miles per hour or whatever the hell he says it goes.
Yeah. So I told Brant I was reading this and I just saw the part where Reed Richards was like, hell yeah, I'll take you to Algeria. And I'm like, Algeria is like an 8-hour plane ride, so like what the fuck are they gonna talk about for 8 hours?
I think the idea though is that plane would go faster.
Yeah, if it's a Fantastic Four vehicle.
Yeah, they probably got there in like an hour or two.
Well, the way Reed says it, they got there in like 10 minutes.
And then maybe they did.
Yeah, which is like, they don't need to fucking talk that whole ride. But yeah, so Reed Richards is a homie. And Spider-Man makes it to Algeria. And he finds this guy who ID'd their bodies, who is like a restaurant owner at a Casbah. And
he finds out where he needs to find his information.
Yes.
He quickly goes there, but is ambushed by a bunch of goons. He takes them out and makes his way to this building where he finds a filing cabinet, fingers through the filing cabinet, and finds Parker. Mm. And he pulls out a card that confirms that his parents were indeed Nazis. Mm-hmm. And it makes him feel like shit, because he's like, well, fuck. Like, what? There's nothing else that I can really do. You know what I mean?
Like what? Like I've found the proof.
Yeah.
So then some motherfucker rolls around in his goddamn whirly chair to look at Spider-Man, and would you believe it? It's the Red Skull. And he looks fucking awesome.
He does look cool. He has like the coolest fucking design.
He's like wearing his goddamn pajamas as he's encountering Spider-Man.
Well, he did come out of nowhere, so it makes sense. He really
did. But, yeah, I don't know. Basically, he's just like, oh, I'm evil, so I'm gonna fight Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, he calls a goon, like a big goon that Spider-Man has to fight, and he takes him out. He, like, sends a car that fires a missile.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
and Spider-Man redirects the missile back at the car.
Kills the motherfucker in there.
That's not Spider-Man's fault,
though.
No,
I know. But the goon, I forgot what they call him, but the finisher or whatever.
Yeah, the finisher.
Yeah, the goon who was in the car with the missile tells Spider-Man that he remembers Richard Parker, and that they actually framed him because he was actually a counter spy for the United States who was working undercover.
Why wouldn't the government already know that then? Why would the state let him be known as a traitor?
I don't fucking know. Because clearly the U.S. government would know this, but whatever. Yeah, they just let the newspapers report it and then shrug their big brawny shoulders.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man, hearing this information, goes back to where the Red Skull and all the filing cabinets and stuff were.
He goes to defeat the Red Skull because he wants to take him in. But the attack gets so it causes an explosion at the base. So Red Skull gets the chance to escape. Well, because he has he reveals something in his chest. I don't understand that bit. Is he a robot?
It's just like a laser like thing that he has.
Oh, okay. So it fires a laser. Well, anyway, it causes an explosion.
Mm-hmm.
And Red Skull escapes.
Yeah.
But Peter looks down at his card that he got that was saying that his dad
was a Nazi spy.
Was a Hydra spy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he sees that it's like frayed and shows a new card that was like underneath it the whole time. And it's revealed to be his evidence that he needs to confirm that his parents were in fact agents of the state and not for Hydra.
Which, you know what I'm so confused about after this? Because it's a happy ending where Spider-Man gets his proof. But I'm just like...
Who's he going to give that to?
Who is he going to give it to? How is he going to justify that he cares this much about this guy, Richard Parker? Like, that he had to go clear his name. I like, after this comic ends, I'm just like, what the fuck does Spider-Man do here? Like... He just goes to the newspapers and he's like, hey, this one random guy who died in like 1948, here's proof that he wasn't a spy for Hydra.
That is true. That is very true.
And they're like, why the fuck would you care so much about this guy? What? Wait a minute. Hold on. You're about the right age. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I completely understand.
Yeah.
But what do you think of this one anyway?
Well, goddamn, it's the best annual.
Well, what do you think of it just as a comic though, not even just as an annual?
As a comic, it is pretty good. I think maybe I have that thing that I have to like make a term for this. Romeo and Juliet syndrome? That works. I have Romeo and Juliet syndrome with this, where I've heard the story so many times in different iterations, or the implication of this story, that it doesn't shock me that they weren't actually spies for Hydra, you know what I mean? I'm just like, yeah, of course, like, they were counter spies for the United States. But yeah, so it's not the most impactful comic, but it is a really good event for Spider-Man to go through and have.
That's what I think. I think that outweighs everything, so I think it makes it a really good comic.
Yeah. Well, this is like really important to Spider-Man.
I also like that there's like a positive moment with like another superhero group, because he just never has moments with
he had never has positive moments
with other superheroes even, you know what I mean? So it's kind of weird.
Yeah. So yeah, I liked it. I just and I liked the importance that it has for Spider-Man, but I wasn't blown away by it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then we'll move on to the Amazing Spider-Man number 66, The Madness of Mysterio.
Yep. God, he looks so cool in this one.
Well, it's the same. I think.
Know it's the same. It's just the art is a little sharper.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, he's every character's starting to look better because they're kind of coming into their own. Like, remember in Amazing Fantasy 15 how Spider-Man was like a gangly, weird, like, dude? You know what I mean? Like, he had like a weird, like, egg head and stuff. You know what I mean? So we've definitely come a long way with how these characters look.
Yeah.
So, Mysterio escapes jail again.
Yep.
I mean, that's how they always do it.
Well, yeah, he made some chemicals to make his smoke bombs, and then he fucking walked out of jail.
Yeah. But we then cut to Peter, who goes to the Daily Bugle, and gets fucking fired for leaving during his taking the pictures of the Vulture.
Yeah.
But Jameson instantly is going to rehire him, obviously, because he realizes that the person who did take the Vulture pictures was so scared that there was no pictures.
Yeah, they're like shaking, and Actually, though, to the point we're at, JJJ has still not hired Peter back officially. He gets to the point like,
well, he's never been really hired, which is funny.
no, he's freelance.
Yeah.
But he gets to the point in this comic where he's like, oh my god, I have to go back to Peter Parker, but he has not yet gone back to Peter Parker.
Yeah.
They haven't talked yet.
But Pete, not having any money, decides that he needs to sell his bike, so he does. End of an era there.
Oh.
And he witnesses the public return of Mysterio, who just, like, does a grand entrance for people to see, just so that people know that he's back.
Yeah, and he goes, oh, I don't give a shit. I really don't.
Well, because he leaves. He, like, leaves instantly, so there's not much he can really do about it.
Well, no, he literally says, like, I don't fucking care if Mysterio just pops up out of nowhere and does nothing. I just don't. He says if he puts anyone in danger, I will take down Mysterio. But if he's just gonna pop out of a sewer grate and scare some people, I really could give a shit less.
Yeah, well, and that's a fair way to think about it, though. While walking away, he runs into Gwen, and they rekindle their little romance? Mm-hmm. I don't know. They're not dating. I don't think. I don't know.
I don't know how dating
I
works
wish they would explain it a little bit better. You know what I mean? But
it's very cute, though.
Yeah. We then are shown Captain Stacy and Robertson having a meeting about the innocence of Spider-Man and how they both think he's an innocent man because they both were saved by him. And they're both two very religious figures in New York.
Yeah.
And Captain Stacy is known for his, if you remember, he has a very deep fascination with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But basically, Peter goes back to his apartment and finds Harry, who's freaking the fuck out because Norman's just disappeared.
Yeah.
So they go around the city looking for him, but we are then shown that Norman has fully remembered that he is the Green Goblin. But he does not remember that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
No.
At least not to our knowledge. And this is the last part where we ever get any information on this, really.
Yeah, until, like, in this
for now.
comics,
Yeah, for now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, he's standing there in the costume. He's fucking racking his brain, going, "Oh, who the fuck is Spider-Man? I know I saw his face."
Well, what's weird about it though is he's like, because he thinks about Peter Parker with Harry, and he's like, I always get a weird feeling about his roommate. And it's like, why don't you have, like, a fucking intuition, like, a little bit there?
I know what's really weird is everyone has, like, an intuition that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, but they never act on it. Kazar had that thought. Kingpin has this thought within these comics. Green Goblin has this thought. Literally, everyone fucking looks at Peter and goes, there's something fucking weird about you. And then they're just like, no, it's fine.
Yeah. But basically, so Peter goes to visit Aunt May, and she freaks out and has another attack because Mysterio does the video is playing of the car driving through the mountains, and the lady popped up on the screen and gave her a fright.
Yeah.
But Mysterio pops up on the TV, on everybody's TV, and gives Spider-Man an open invitation to fight at the movie studio where they first fought. Mm-hmm. And it scares May so bad that she has another attack.
Yeah.
Peter obviously leaves and goes out as Spider-Man to meet the challenge. And they begin to brawl, but Mysterio unveils a pea shooter, sure, and shoots Spider-Man with it. That knocks him out. Mm-hmm. And Spider-Man awakens. He's shown that Mysterio has designed this little model of an amusement park. He's clearly shown this because Mysterio wants him to see it, and we'll know why. But he sees this, and he gets knocked out, and all of a sudden he wakes up 6 inches tall
Yep.
in the amusement park after being hit with the ray.
Yep.
So yeah, what was your thoughts on the Amazing Spider-Man number 66, The Madness of Mysterio?
I quite like it. I quite like that Mysterio has this fucking like these models and props up on the TV where he's just like showing like, if Spider-Man doesn't come here, this is what I'm gonna do to the Brooklyn Bridge.
Oh yeah, he has like he like blows up a model of the Brooklyn Bridge and makes it look really real.
And it makes Aunt May have a fucking heart attack.
Oh, it's like that scene in Austin Powers where Dr. Evil shows the president of the 1940s the video of the White House blowing up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and it's just like, I think this one is funny because Mysterio keeps trying to get like Spider-Man's attention, and Peter is just like, I really can't be fucked. Like I just cannot.
Yeah.
So I quite liked it, and I like the build up of going back to the movie studio, and that it's on Mysterio's terms.
Yeah, well, I really like it. I really like this one too. I like that, we have the rekindling of Gwen and stuff. It's just a lot of stuff from both the Peter perspective, because you also have Norman's the Green Goblin again. You know what I mean? That's really important too.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of really important stuff happening, as well as, Mysterio having a really good arc as well in this.
Yeah.
With being the interesting villain for this.
He just wants his fucking revenge.
Yeah. But do we want to move on?
Yep.
All right. On to the Amazing Spider-Man number 67, To Squash a Spider.
Yep.
Spider-Man's now 6 inches tall, and Mysterio is punching the shit out of him.
Uh-huh.
Obviously he's dodging all of these, but he is certainly trying. We cut to May waking up, and the doctor tells her that she is going to fucking die if she keeps having attacks. So we're back to that whole thing. They can't figure out what else to do with Aunt May, can they?
No, they can't. It's like, I really can't wait for like a different Aunt May. Just cause like
Aunt May's so lame.
I feel no love. I feel no love for Aunt May, cause it's just, all it is she's a very one-note character where she worries about Peter and then it makes her have a heart attack.
Maybe someday this Aunt May will figure out that Peter's Spider-Man, and then maybe she'll become cooler.
I don't know. Then she'd probably worry even more, because every time he goes
Well, then
out...
she'd die, though. You know what I mean? And then we wouldn't even have to deal with her at that point.
Every time he like, went to school, she'd be like, oh my god, is Dr. Octopus, like, skewering my nephew? You know what I mean?
True. She loves Dr. Octopus, though.
Yeah.
But anyway... Yeah, she's gonna have another attack if she has another attack, she's gonna fucking croak.
Yes.
We learn about Robertson's. He has a son at ESU.
Randy,
but that's just set up for
the next comic.
For the next comic. But basically, we cut back to Spider-Man. He's dodging all these hits. He tries to hide. He gets put in a glass cube.
It's like a hall of mirrors where the mirrors are crushing in on him.
Yeah, and he has to waste all his webbing, or not all of his webbing, but a lot of it, because he has to shield his body from the glass that he has to break through because it's laced with poison.
Yeah.
And obviously he doesn't want to cut himself.
Mm-hmm.
And
then he gets sucked into a whirlpool.
Yeah, that he has to escape. And once he escapes the whirlpool, he has to fight... Well, he has to escape a giant axe and then fight a dragon lizard thingy.
Like a water serpent.
Yeah. I need to run to the bathroom so you can continue.
Alright. So, yeah, Spider-Man has gone through all these tribulations. And so then Mysterio shows up, like, still trying to crush him and stuff. Being like, he's starting to get frustrated. He's starting to go like, why don't you give up? Even if you get out of here, you're 6 inches tall. What are you gonna do, Spider-Man? So we're at that point. And then I'm just trying to see how important this, like, Robertson stuff is. It really isn't. It's just Robertson being introduced, or Robertson's son, Randy / Randolph, being introduced. But yeah, then we go back to Mysterio cracking up and getting upset because Spider-Man keeps dodging. And so then Spider-Man keeps thinking, oh, I just need a break to think about this for a minute. Because obviously he's Mysterio. Obviously he has something up his sleeve. And he's trying to pull some sort of trick. And so he finally figures it out that he's not actually 6 inches tall. And that Mysterio has been bluffing the whole time. And that they are actually at, like, a regular sized amusement park that Mysterio is running, and then Spider-Man just kicks his ass and he burns his costume and he's fucking poking at Mysterio, and Mysterio goes, can you fucking shut up, just take me to jail, and that's the end. Actually, we end off on a final panel where Spider-Man sees some student protesters to be the precursor to the next comic, which is a doozy. So while Brant's in the bathroom, I'll give my thoughts on this one. I really like it. I like the idea that Mysterio isn't like a super strong guy, and so if Spider-Man like finds him and fights him one-on-one, if he's out of illusions, he just can't do it. Like, the basis of his strength is on those illusions, and that he just keeps throwing things at Spider-Man so rapidly. Yeah, I just think Mysterio is a really cool villain. I might be a little biased in liking these two ones because I really like Mysterio, but I think he's great, and I think it's a little different than just Spider-Man beating the shit out of Kingpin over and over again. So, yeah. I hear Brant finishing up, so washing their dainty hands. All right. What are your thoughts on this comic, my dear?
It's good. Yeah. Sorry about that. I agree with everything that you said. I could hear you, and I think that it's the best Mysterio. I said to you, I think it's the best Mysterio outing besides his psychiatric stunt in like 23 or whatever.
Yeah. Frontier psychiatrist by the Avalanches.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
I like the aspect of. I mean, even if it's like it was a giant size Mysterio image. You know what I mean? That's cool still.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's filled with a lot of cool imagery and stuff.
And it is cool when the perspective changes, like within the comic, when Spider-Man hops on top of like the Ferris wheel control building or whatever and pops it open and Mysterio's in there.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh shit, Mysterio isn't big.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we want to move on to
68.
Yeah, so The Amazing Spider-Man number 68, Crisis on the Campus.
Yeah, oh god.
So, Kingpin wants to steal a big tablet that has untold riches on it.
Yeah.
That's his plot for this
fucking MacGuffin.
This comic.
Literally just a MacGuffin.
And Pete figures out there's a protest going on at his school. Where the students want, so there's like this is where the tablet is or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to get removed, the tablet, and they're going to turn it into alumni housing, but the students want them to turn it into low rent housing.
For needy students.
Yes, and the dean won't see them, really. Like, he sees them, but it doesn't seem like he's on their side or whatever.
The ending of this whole saga is so weird.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about what the dean says at the end.
I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah.
But basically, this stuff...
Should we just...
It's a little problematic.
Yeah.
And it's not... So, Stan's got the right idea. But, so Randy is, obviously, he's a black man.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of black men in this comic specifically.
Yes.
And they're all written by Stan. And they're written very stereotypically.
Well... It's interesting because they are in a sense, because at this time, most white people would probably not write, like, black men as, like, students, like, well put together students on a campus.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, I can't help in this comic but think that this is a comment on the Black Panther movement, because there is a group of students led by a black student, Josh, who's Randy's friend, who Josh wants to be aggressive and violent to get what they want. And then that's where the conflict is, where Randy doesn't know what to do because he thinks this results in more action, but his father says that this isn't the way to do things, and people call his dad like an Uncle Tom because he works for a white guy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is a lot. This is a lot for a Spider-Man comic, but it's like this is being written in like 1968 or 1969, so I can see why Stan included this in the comics. And there are certain good aspects to it, but I think today a lot of this we would consider cringe, to say the least. Do you have anything else to say?
No, I just can't believe you said the UT word.
Well, you can say that. It's an archetype.
I know, I just don't... It's just a bad archetype, though.
Well, no, I know, but, like, you can say it. It's not a slur.
I know.
But yeah.
But basically, Kingpin, he steals this fucking tablet, and he ends up causing an explosion, and these protesters get blamed for it.
This is also the weird thing that this is paired with, like, a stupid fucking tablet getting stolen from an exhibition hall by Kingpin. And the fact that the problem is where literally, like, the police think things are getting blown up is over a dorm. They want to make a dorm. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, this is so insignificant, like...
comparatively.
Yeah, to these wider issues, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I know, obviously, because of the comics code and stuff, they have to make it, like, a certain way.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's just I don't even want to... Yeah, I don't want to waste any more time on this comic, just because it's, like... It's just weird, because it's just, like... I can't even, not that I want to, but I can't even say some of the things that Stan makes some of those characters, like, say to white people and other vice versa. It's just weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how everybody refers to each other. It's very odd.
And it's like... I don't want to make this sound like... Oh, we're saying Stan is racist.
No, I don't.
No.
No, I don't think that at all. Like I said, I think he's definitely on the right side. It's just of the time he just wrote characters stereotypically and didn't.
And with the nuance of like conversations today.
Yeah, no, it's a lot different.
It's a lot different, and it doesn't fit into this.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of hard to talk about, especially when we're talking about Spider-Man comics. We're just like...
Yeah, you just want to talk about... Not that there can't be serious issue, but it's like... Not when the serious issue is written weirdly. You know what I mean? It's just like uncomfortable.
Yeah, when it's hard for us to manage.
Yeah, it's like if you know, a Spider-Man comic wants to talk about a race issue, then just talk about a race issue. Don't frame it as like this whole...
You kind of have to with the comics code.
Well, no, the comics code too, but just like... Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, we just don't want to get too much into it.
Especially when it's all written by white guys who don't seem to like fully understand what they're talking about too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, it's definitely not malicious or anything.
No.
But yeah, the crux of this comic is that Kingpin steals this fucking tablet.
It's just hard when you're like, oh, this this goes along with like kind of the other issue or with the protest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where Peter's a huge dick. Right? That's what happened?
Yeah, there's a part where like the student...
Well, we've talked about it, right?
No, but we didn't talk about it. There's a part where the student protesters ask Pete to join the protest, and really fundamentally...
Oh, in this one. No, I meant previously.
Oh, yeah, the other comic where there's a protest. Yeah,
I meant that it just gives you a sour taste because of how negative that one
badly.
Is on, like, protests, where this one is, like, pro-protest. Kinda?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But there is a weird part in this where Pete is asked to join the protest, and I didn't even think they asked that aggressively at all. But what happens...
Well, they do assume... They I guess the idea is that they
make an assumption.
They automatically assume he's there to do it. And
yeah.
I guess that's where the problem begins.
There's no, like, aggression there, though. But
No.
Peter does not fundamentally disagree with what they want, but... Because...
He wants to hear both sides.
Well, no, that's not even it. Literally, the first thing he says it later in this comic, he wants to hear both sides. The first thing he says is, I don't like people pushing me around. I'm not going to join anything where anybody pushes me around.
Yeah.
It's literally, he just gets pissed off that they assumed that he came for the protest.
When he said that he was coming for the protest.
Yeah, which is just weird. But anyway... yeah, I think we've kind of put all our thoughts out there as we've read it. I would say...
Kingpin steals the tablet, if we didn't say that.
Yeah,
and that's how it ends.
I was not...
Randy and all of his friends get arrested.
Yes, because they think they were part of this Kingpin plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like... I think it's just like a time disconnect thing.
Yeah.
I just did not connect with the comic at all. I was just like, this is a very awkward read for today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we want to move on?
Yeah. You feel the same way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on to the Amazing Spider-Man number 69, Mission, Crush the Kingpin. Mm-hmm. Spider-Man's hunting down Kingpin just because obviously he feels like shit about what happened.
Yep.
The fact that Randy got picked up for it and stuff, so he's drawing near, and Kingpin is planning on this because he wants Spider-Man to follow him so he can finally finish him. Mm-hmm. Brief mention that there's like a quick mention of Kingpin's wife in the form of a goon makes a joke of, like, a wisecrack about her, and he slaps the shit out of him.
Yeah. Don't talk about my wife.
Yeah. So obviously there's going to be some kind of reveal later there with his wife. Mm-hmm. And I have a theory about that coming up here soon. I have a
theory too.
Well, I guess we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, I wonder how similar our theories are.
But Kingpin locks the tablet away and patiently awaits Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Randy gets questioned by the police. Spider-Man shows up, and he instantly knows it's a trap, so he sends in a web dummy as
his
like
clothes.
Yeah, to bait them to like fire preemptively so that he knows that it's a trap. You know what I mean?
So yeah, they unload their guns in this dummy.
Yeah, Spider-Man then quickly disperses the goons and is ano and mono with Kingpin. They keep trading blows.
And then Kingpin grabs his little pinky finger and crushes it.
Well, yeah, but then they both play possum in this fight. Like Spider-Man does it first, and then lunges at Kingpin, and then Kingpin does it back to Spider. It's so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But it eventually leads to Spider-Man knocking out Kingpin because Kingpin attempts to use his cane to shoot him. Mm-hmm. And Spider-Man webs the cane and it blows up and the blowback knocks him out.
Yeah, and Kingpin gets booked.
Yeah, the cops show up and arrest Kingpin. Spider-Man is away because quickly after this, a goon runs to try to get the tablet and Spider-Man fetches it. But as he attempts to return it to the police, Kingpin has
said to the police, "Oh, my spidery ally is taking the tablet away from here so that I can't be booked on those charges of stealing the tablet." So he basically frames Spider-Man.
Yeah, but as soon as the police start shooting at him, Spider-Man leaves. He doesn't even give them back the tablet.
Yeah,
and he decides
being shot at.
Well, he decides that he's just maybe not even going to be a good guy anymore. Like he's just over it at this point.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, which is interesting.
Yep.
And I mean, obviously we're not talking about the next one yet, but it kind of even goes into the next one. You know what I mean? The thought of him maybe being a villain now. It's not like a thing that he says at the end of a comic. And then instantly the next comic, he's like, "You fucking idiot. Why would I ever think that?" You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he actually kind of commits to it for a little bit here.
Yeah.
But yeah, what did you think of the Amazing Spider-Man 69 mission crush the Kingpin?
Kill the Kingpin. Yeah, I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was the best, but I thought it was good.
Yeah, this fucking tablet nonsense with throwing around this MacGuffin just is not interesting to me.
Yeah.
But it is interesting the turn with Spider-Man, but that gets more explored in this last one.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. So do we want to just move straight on?
Yep.
All right. The Amazing Spider-Man number 70, Spider-Man Wanted.
Whoa!
All right, you want to start this one?
Okay, so Kingpin is in jail, and he is still playing up the thing where Spider-Man was his ally, but then he slips up and he goes, "Oh, I'm gonna destroy that fucking Spider-Man and get this tablet." And the guard goes, "I thought you were working together." And Kingpin goes, yeah, we were, but
he betrayed me.
And Spider-Man ran off with the tablet, so I want to get out of here and get it. And so he comes up with this escape plan where he's going to hold the bars all angry and slowly twist them apart.
Yeah, and he will.
And he will. And so
Peter has a little bit of a freak out about how people treat him, like he usually does.
Yeah.
He goes home, has some terrible sleep, goes to school.
Well, I want to mention, too, before that, he says he wants to take this tablet for someone to read.
Yeah.
Which I'm interested in, because I think they'll do that the next comic. And I'm wondering, is it like Moon Knight or something?
I doubt it.
I don't know. We'll see. Anyhow, go ahead.
Peter goes to school the next day. He gets his ass chewed out by Gwen because she thinks he's a square, basically, because everybody is like shitting on him for not joining the protest.
Which it's like, yeah, I was shitting on Peter, but I was shitting on Peter because of his reasoning, because he is a hothead, and if anybody asks him to do anything, he just freaks the fuck out.
Yeah.
That's why I was mad at Peter. These fucking people are just like, oh, you won't do what we want you to do? You're a coward.
Yeah,
And I'm
Gwen's being a little bit of an asshole.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, whatever.
But the dean of ESU visits Randy and tells him that he was on his side, and basically all the charges get dropped against him.
Yeah, he says the stupidest fucking line. The dean is like, yeah, no, I agreed with you guys the entire time about having a low rent dorm, but I just didn't want to meet with you. And his justification, he says, I thought students should be seen and not heard. And it's like, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially if you're not implementing any of the things they say.
Yeah.
Or you're taking forever to at least say that you're going to do them.
You're not even sending out a newsletter like, hey, we're gonna convert the exhibition hall.
Yeah.
It's just fucking stupid. Like, the resolution is moronic, and the fact that there was even a problem because this stupid dean was like, actually, I just don't want to talk to students.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense.
Yeah.
But, Kingpin escapes jail.
Mm-hmm. He's been twisting the bars.
No shit. Spider-Man then has an idea, because he hears about Kingpin escaping. He goes around and he beats up as many goons as he can find until Kingpin will find him.
Yeah.
Which eventually he does.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fucking kind of weird.
Well, actually, he kind of has a good point where he was like, the implication is that a lot of these goons report to Kingpin, and that he has the tablet on his back, which is what Kingpin wants. So the goons would report that, and Kingpin would come after him. Well, I think it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kingpin does show up, and they begin fighting again.
Yep.
And as they're fighting, J. Jonah Jameson and Robertson in a car show up.
Pull up in the whip.
In
the bugle whip. It says bugle on it.
They do pull up in the bugle whip.
Can someone get me the bugle whip?
And the second they pull up in the bugle whip, a mysterious stranger pulls up in another whip.
A woman.
Why? That's my theory. I think that's Kingpin's wife.
Okay.
In the car. They don't tell us. But basically Kingpin gets in the car and escapes. And J. Jonah Jameson gets out of his car and begins to harass Spider-Man as he usually does.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets to a point where Spider-Man fucking loses it. He's had enough of the harassment, and he kind of tackles...
I forgot how this comic ends.
Yeah, he tackles J. Jonah Jameson and, like, holds him up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And he scares him so bad.
He yells in his face. He goes, I'm done with you, you old man!
And he screams in his face so bad that he assumedly gives him a heart attack.
Yeah, because... Robertson, or no, Ned Leeds.
Oh, yeah, no, it's, okay.
Yeah,
I said Robertson, it's Ned Leeds, sorry.
Yeah, who was in the car with JJJ. But, when Spider-Man lets him down, Ned Leeds is like, holy shit, he's not breathing.
Yeah.
Which is fucked. And so, that's where we end off, with Spider-Man swinging off, like, kind of having a panic attack, like, I took this too far. There's no recovering from this if JJJ dies, because then he will be vindicated for all of eternity.
Yeah. So, what did you think of the Amazing Spider-Man number 70, Spider-Man Wanted?
I thought it was the best of this line of 3.
I think it was really, really good.
Yeah, because of the cliffhanger with JJJ, and the way that Kingpin escapes, because it leaves a lot to be answered. It leaves a lot of suspense. Because you're like, what's gonna happen to JJJ? Oh my god, Kingpin fucking escaped again. We're gonna have, like, next time a 10-part comic series with Kingpin.
Yeah.
So yeah, I quite liked it. I didn't like it as much as like the Mysterio stuff, but I did really like it.
Yeah, I agree. I like Kingpin quite a bit. I think it's the best out of all of the Kingpin ones in this, I think it is probably the best one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
What's your game theory though about his wife? Is that it? That it's the lady in the car?
yeah, that's it. What's your game theory?
My game theory was that this is too easy.
She's dead.
She's dead. She's not the lady in the car. She's dead. And the reason the goons say he's afraid of his wife is because he's haunted by her ghost.
Oh, kind of like in Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably wrong. I'm probably like outthinking this comic like by a million miles. But...
Yeah, trying to fucking Death Note be 12 steps ahead.
Yeah, but we shall see. Because I'm trying to think of what other woman could be in the car is my only problem. You know what I mean?
It's probably gonna be someone random.
I don't know.
MJ.
Fucking Christ.
She could have got brainwashed.
She could have, I guess.
She could have.
MJ's in the vehicle. MJ's in the Kingpin whip.
Not the bugle whip.
Nope.
And with that, we end this.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for joining. I'd like to thank you.
Go over to the YouTube and watch this again, or if you're already on the YouTube video, just hit replay.
Over and over and over.
Over and over and over.
Get this review to a million views.
Please.
All right. Thank you guys, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.